Hey guys, Brian out here in the shop. It was a slow weekend, but I did happen to make it to an estate sale. So I wanted to show you guys what I got today. We'll start off with this guy. This, I believe, is a Machinist made little setting hammer, probably for whenever they're putting their parts in chucks and stuff like that. It's got some great knurling on it. These little Delrin or plastic heads unscrew. Just because of the construction and the way it's made, and there's no maker's mark or anything, I'm almost positive it was a machinist made hammer. The guy was a machinist, it seemed like. He had lots of machinist type tooling. But I got another little hammer here, just a couple soft faces, lead center part, very nice original little handle, pretty cool. And then found some little needle files, a little general. It's got 12 files, they're all in there. They're super sharp. So when doing little intricate work, those work out good. Also, I got this little Dunlap saw filer. It's kind of a filing jig. I've seen a couple of these before, and especially the antique ones, or the older ones, and they're usually missing parts, but this one's really simple. It's just got this little guide that you put on your saw, and then you can loosen this set screw and you can rotate it around, whether you're doing a cross cut or a rip saw. For a rip saw, you just have it set on 0 and you want to go straight across. And then depending on what you like to file your teeth at, you can change the angle for a crosscut saw. You can also rotate this file, so if you want a more aggressive cut on your rip saw or crosscut saw, you can turn it. So it's pretty cool. It's like I said, very simple, much easier to deal with than the typical ones that you find. Also, we got a couple of V-blocks, 2 different V-blocks here. This one is just your standard V-block, has some holes in it, through hole, a little setting hole, a couple holes on the side. Just a nice little V-block. This one, I think, is probably a production V-block. It's got some grooves in it. It could be machinist made, who knows, but they're nice. Can always use those. Then we got a 1, 2, 3 block. Nice little solid block. Good for setting stuff up. I use these whenever I'm cutting mortise and tenon joints with a chisel. You can set this up on the edge of your mortise and use it as a guide for your chisel. Keeps them nice and straight. It's a really good technique. Then we got a nice little Stanley bevel here. If I can get it loose. There we go. A little Stanley number, what's that say? 25? Yeah. Stanley 25, 10-inch, made in USA. It says Stanley right across here. It's got brass on the bottom and at the top. It needs to be cleaned up, but some steel wool, this thing will be good to go. Look real nice. Let's see here. Then had this nice little hand vise. I think it's a Miller's Falls. I've had some Miller's Falls in the past, and they had the same type of spring inside here, and it functions very well. So that can come in handy whenever you're grinding small parts, things like that. Then we've got a little Dunlap rule. a steel rule. It is tempered. Anytime you're looking for squares or rules, make sure that they say tempered, because if they're not, they're more likely to become unstraight and bend on you, and they're more likely to get divots whenever you're, if you use a marking knife or a scribe and you use the grooves in your rule to set it in, it can widen them out or mess them up. So always look out for that. A good, nice tempered rule is irreplaceable. So next, had this nice little file handle here. I've got a few of these. This is one of mine. It's got a little broken knob on there. But I love these things. Anytime I see them, I try to get them. Sometimes it's hard to keep them good and tight. And I'll even put a wrench on them just to tighten them down. That's probably what somebody did to that one, messed it up. But they work really well. They're very comfortable in the hand. So if you ever get a chance to get these, get them. Last but not least, we got a spoke shave. I love spoke shaves. They're probably one of my favorite tools. This one is not a very nice one. It is a Sears spoke shave. You can tell it's got casting marks all over it. And just this style in general, this shape, doesn't really lend very well to your hands, and the handles aren't quite long enough. They're awkward. But I still got it because I love spoke shaves. And this could be one that I modify, or I try to, do some stuff to make it better. But yeah, that's everything I found. Let me show you some of the stuff I've been working on. So right here we got a pile of lumber, a pile of wood, I'm sorry. This has all been hand planed black walnut. I'm gonna make a little shelf, just a little wall shelf for my office. Some low spots that'll probably get cut off. That's why I didn't plane all those. But yeah. Then if we walk over here, I made a couple of handles on the lathe. Those little brass ferrules. This is actually, hickory. Goodness. This is hickory that a buddy gave me, and I cut off some pieces and I painted the ends of it, and it's been drying for about 2 years. So I figured it was dry enough where I could start using it. So I don't know if it shows on camera, but look at those lines coming out. It's beautiful stuff. It's got a little rotten spot right there. I need to put some CA glue in, but we'll fill that up. The last thing I did while I was planing all that wood, I made a modification to one of my user planes. So I've got big hands, and contrary to popular belief, whenever you're using hand planes, a smaller handle is actually better for a guy with bigger hands. Because like if you have a number 5 and you feel like the handle doesn't fit your hand, or your hand's too big for it, you actually need to make the handle smaller to give your hand more room. Well, I was getting blisters on this. Actually, you can see one right there, that black blister, but on the side of my palm and on this side over here. And it was from this little ledge right here, the body of the plane. So I took a die grinder and I grinded down the side, and I took some files and sandpaper and smoothed it out. And I tell you what, it is a game changer. So now, usually with the hand plane, the handle is your reference point for holding it square. But now I've got this reference point, and then my hand is setting flat on the plane. So now I've got 2 reference points. And I just feel like I've got so much more control with it than I did before. But I wouldn't do this to a collector's plane, or a collectible plane, I'm sorry. But this is 5 1/4 that I've had a long time. It's my favorite plane to use. Again, the 5 1/4, it was considered a schoolhouse plane or for students. So it's a little bit smaller. It's a little bit shorter than a number 5, a little skinnier, but it's longer than a number 4. And the handle is actually smaller, but it fits my hand better. And because it's longer, there's a lot more room in between here to adjust your depth and everything. But yeah, knocking that little sidewall off there, excuse me, really made a difference. So this is the draw knife. I cleaned it up a while back. It's a chip away. It's got a couple little rust spots on it that I'm gonna have to clean up, but I think these handles are gonna look pretty dang good on there. I'm excited about it. So if you guys wanna see me finish up this build, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about the tools I acquired, let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a great week and be safe out in the shop. Thanks, guys.